51 through 200. So we will start there. Simple enough. There we go. All right. Item description. A scorpion that imitates various human mannerisms and speaks fluent English in a British accent. Date of recovery: 01/28/2010. Location of recovery: Texas, USA. Current status: contained in a standard terrarium, heat lamp included, at site blank. Notes: he appears to like tea, despite normal scorpions being strictly carnivorous. Dr. Henry. Item description: a pennaceous feather resembling a tail feather from an unknown species of family Accipitridae. Okay, I was right. I heard it. Okay, yeah, I did kind of like that right the first time. Okay. Hawks, eagles, and vultures. It is brown and with white banding, appears to have naturally fallen from its host, and measures 4 meters long by 1 meter wide. Date of recovery: 09/14/2011. Location of recovery: steppe land, approximately 500 kilometers west of Astana, Kazakhstan. Current status: in storage. Notes: so we have a giant egg and a giant feather in storage. Where's the giant bird? And why doesn't anybody know about it? Dr. Argent. Item description: an unbranded data cable for blank devices. When connected to a compatible device, the device will charge itself, even if the data cable is not attached to a visible power supply. Date of recovery: sometime in the 2000s. Location of recovery: sent as promotional material through blank to site blank. Return address of mail is currently under surveillance by Foundation operatives. Current status: kept in storage in site blank. Personnel to use. Item description: 12 quill pens that, when placed inside a suitable saltwater environment, animate and behave like a sea pen. When taken out of water, it will revert back to its original state. The items were discovered after a report of living pens. Date of recovery: 08/23/2015. Location of recovery: a small tank inside blank, San Diego. Current status: placed in an aquarium at Dr. Blank's room. Item description: a commercial electrician's 22-piece tool set, manufactured and sold by blank. Any attempt to take any of the tools in the set without looking directly at it will cause the tools to instantaneously transport a few meters away to a random location. After 5 attempts to retrieve a tool, all tools in the set will transport to a suitable location for them to arrange themselves in an order resembling the winky face emoticon. Date of recovery: 04/18/2013. Blah, blah, blah. I don't need to buy any viewers. Bye. Location of recovery: construction site for containment area blank. Current status: Site 45's low priority containment wing. Item description: a writing pad with the words "Do not swear" written on every page. Whenever the object is written about, any expletives in the text will automatically be replaced with similar words. Date of recovery: 09/08/2015. Location of recovery: a classroom in the blank school in Australia. Current status: kept on a paper tray in researcher blank's room. Item description: a pair of black men's gloves made of an unknown material. If the items are worn while punching a living thing or inanimate object, large words depicting the sound. Nope, don't need any bots. Thank you. Uh, Large words depicting the sound made will appear for 1.7 seconds within 1 meter of the wearer. Data recovery: 09/08/2015. Location of recovery: Prop House in Walla Walla, Washington, United States. Current status: in Dr. Blank's office display case. Item description: a pencil sharpener that adds back layers of wood to any pencil inserted in until it is indiscernible from its original unsharpened form. Date of recovery 11/2015. I have to hope that's month, because otherwise, why include it and not just write about the whole thing? Location of recovery a classroom in blank, Africa. Current status in a staff supply closet for reusing pencils. Redacted. Or sorry, scratched. In a locker, in a locked container in Dr. Blank's office. Item description a 1 gallon tub of blank vanilla ice cream. The ice cream itself is continuously kept at 12 degrees Celsius despite temperature surrounding it. Consumption of the ice cream will cause the taste to change to a random flavor of existing ice cream flavors. However, consumption will automatically trigger an ice cream headache. The ice cream does not regenerate after consumption. Date of recovery 03/14 19 something. Location of recovery Blank's freezing goods. Current status Area 23 frozen storage. Scratched. Consumed. Item description human skull that, when held, will cause the holder to walk around the room with the skull, acting out the play Hamlet by William Shakespeare. After finishing, the holder will place the skull to its original position and return to normal. When questioned, subjects usually respond with lines from the play. Date of recovery 09/14/2002. Location of recovery a drama hall in London, England. Current status a locked display case in Dr. Moreau's office. Anomalous items 161 through 170. Item description a male blue shark that swims through the air like it would through water. Date of recovery 11/16/2013. Location of recovery Miami, Florida. Current status on-site terrarium at site B14. Notes will eat anything a normal shark would, but seems to prefer dog food. Dr. Ullman. Item description a stovepipe hat that, when worn by a human and viewed by one or more penguins, will exert a force on the wearer, accelerating them upward at a rate of 1 meter per second squared per observer. Under normal circumstances, 10 or more observers are required to overcome the forces of gravity. Date of recovery sometime in the 2000s. Location of recovery a zoo. Current status Site 37 storage wing. That's that's incredible. I don't even know what to make of that. All right. Item description a double six domino that cannot be knocked over. When pushed with a great amount of force, it knocks down the object pushed it with a similar amount of force. Could a human push it, it bends the fingers that push the domino downward. Date of recovery 03/28/1996. Location of recovery Boston, Massachusetts. Current status placed against the wall in Site 4's storage container. Scratched. Shot by agent redacted in an attempt to knock it down, and thus it was broken into multiple pieces. Pieces displayed no anomalies even after being superglued together. Item description: one cassette tape entitled "The Best of Queen." When left unobserved in close proximity to other cassette tapes, item will transmogrify the tapes into exact copies of itself. Date of recovery 09/20/1982. Location of recovery floorboard of Agent Blank's car. Current status Site 18's music wing. So it would have to be stored. It should specify that it's stored in like its own isolated containment cell within Site 88's music wing. Otherwise, it's just turning everything else into Queen. Aye, aye, aye. All right. Item description: a gray a gray analog alarm clock that sounds like the owner's primary maternal figure when reaching its set specific time. Date of recovery 10/28/2015. Location of recovery Ithaca, New York. Current status kept in storage. Scratched. Destroyed by Agent Blank. Agent reprimanded. Item description a seemingly standard U.S. quarter. When flipped, it has a 33% chance of landing on the third side, not normally visible. The third side depicts an engraving similar in appearance and format to the special state quarters. However, it depicts a state that does not exist. The state depicted is called New Cauld, and according to the coin, was founded in 1919. The engraving depicts a hammer and a nail over a stylized image of a tree. Date of recovery: 03/10/1989. Location of recovery: Las Vegas, Nevada. Current status: in storage. Testing must be approved by Dr. Cox. Oh my gosh, I'm very congested today. Item description: a table with a circular area approximately 20 centimeters in diameter. It remains at a constant 37 degrees Celsius, no matter the surrounding temperatures. Location of recovery: Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Current status: in Site 19 break room for use by staff. Request to move to storage pending. Item description: a relatively small maple tree that shows effects opposite to the season currently underway. There are no ill effects on its health, in spite of being unable to sufficiently photosynthesize due to the anomaly. Date of recovery: 07/21/1984. Location of recovery: a park in blank. Current status: relocated to an outdoor compartment site blank. Object retains anomalous property after relocation. Item description: a complex ritual which, when performed correctly, causes the manifestation of a single pepperoni pizza. Ritual was originally written on a receipt from a local pizzeria for one large pepperoni pizza. Date of recovery: 11/16/1993. Location of recovery: Phoenix, Arizona. Current status: original receipt is kept in a low security filing cabinet at Site 17. Notes: investigation of pizzeria showed no signs of further anomalous activity. Item description: a colony of lesser flamingos, numbering 1,441 in population at time of recovery, whose members were mutually intangible. Breeding attempts resulted in completely intangible offspring. Date of recovery: 04/18/1952. Location of recovery: Namibia. Current status: all known members are deceased. The remains displayed no anomalous properties and were incinerated. Anomalous items 171 through 180. Item description: an animate common iguana made completely of plant matter. Iguana was unable to reproduce as no female version of the creature had been found. Consumed insect matter. Jeez. Date of recovery: 04/12/1983. Interesting. Location of recovery: sewers beneath blank. Current status: died at average age. Genetic information stored at site blank. Item description: a worn-out dartboard that cannot be hit by any player, regardless of skill level. Despite missing, the user will believe they scored a bullseye and boast about their skills for a period of time between 4 and 110 minutes. Date of recovery: 09/27/1963. Location of recovery: a pub in Cork, Ireland. Current status: in storage at Site 77. Item description: a small toy in the shape of a domesticated pig with wings that animates at will. Item behaves in a manner similar to its biological counterpart, with the only exception being that it uses flight as its primary mode of transportation. Date of recovery: 05/10/2001. Location of recovery: Houston, Texas. Current status: contained in storage on Site 18. Item description: a chocolate-dipped granola bar that, when consumed, seems to have the missing portion regrow on one end of the bar. Date of recovery: 02/17/2015. Location of recovery: Ontario. Current status: in storage at Site Blank's cafeteria. Flattened, however, anomalous effects haven't been nullified. Weird. Note: researchers and their brains, always wanting to know more. Smashed my damn chocolate bar in the process. Agent blank. Item description: a cardboard box. All physical documentation of item spontaneously translocates to inside the box itself. Weird. Date of recovery: 01/01/2016. Location of recovery: Georgia, USA. Current status: in storage. Addition: attempts to keep audio-only recordings resulted in the recording devices moving to inside the box. Item description. A piece of information that, when put through all mediums tested, image, txt, .mp3, ant genome, AIAD, redacted, alters itself to produce the same description/image of a purple flower. Date of recovery: 04/02/2016. Location of recovery: Redacted's digital camera after being struck by lightning. Current status: contained in anomalous data storage drive 14. Why wouldn't you just black out the name? Why would you redact the name? Why wouldn't you just black it out? Whatever. All right. A paper that causes every other word written on it to be turned into an expletive. Date of recovery: 01/24/19 something. Location of recovery: a high school. Current status: in site blank storage locker. I fucking don't, damn it, what the shit is. I'm fucking on shit right ass and shit's fine. Dr. Blank. I don't. Alright, okay. Entry Entry portrayal. An antique lexicon which necessitates readers to communicate in unnecessary serpentine synonyms after perusing it. Periodically, synonyms interdict prepense definition. Occasion of retrieval: 1302 1900 something AD. Venue of retrieval: Thenium Romania, I guess, my bad, sorry. Contemporary state: in stockpile. Notation: human resources who I toil with are now necessitated to use dictionaries when in a tete-a-tete with me. Dr. Blank. No, prepense, my bad. Great. Okay. All right. Weird. Okay. Item description: a VHS player, blank. When described, changes the letters of random words, blank, any description, blank to it, to the Unicode blank, known as full block, blank. While the blank player itself, blank, not been observed, blank, show any anomalous blank aside from this. Blank of recovery: 09/04/2015. Location: blank recovery: Sao Paulo, Brazil. Current status: contained in blank on blank 18. Beautiful. Still just as coherent as a lot of these other ones. Item description: a common goldfish, genetically within normal parameters for its species. It is in no way anomalous. Scratched. Notes: Dr. Syrian is no longer permitted to edit this document without O5 approval. All right then. Anomalous items 181 through 190. Item description: a common goldfish that sporadically explodes before spontaneously reassembling. The detonations are sufficient to shatter aquarium glass and have so far killed 10. Date of recovery: 02/05/2016. Location of recovery: House of Dr. Syrian, New York, United States. Current status: kept in blast-proof bowl in Level 2 testing lab of Site 24. Fed twice daily. Item description: a plastic coddler spoon that attempts to gouge out the eyes of anyone who comes within 6 meters of it. Date of recovery: 2016. Location of recovery: Colorado. Current status: in storage. Notes: the spoon is neither sharp enough nor heavy enough to do any real damage, just slightly uncomfortable. Goggles are recommended to anyone working with it. Blank. Item description: a standard MPK5 SMG. When fired, it emits a high-pitched voice that attempts to mimic the expected sound of the weapon firing. Date of recovery: 02/18/2012. Location of recovery: Lynchwood. Current status: in storage, pending destruction. Item description: a 2 kilogram block Gorgonzola cheese, which will continuously emit 1970s disco funk at 65 decibels within 12 meters of any male with a mustache. Very specific. Date of recovery 0101 2000. Location of recovery Alt Mod Discotheque, Antwerp, Belgium. Current status in storage at all female Site 12. Item description a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter wooden block that casts a shadow shaped like a common house cat. Date of recovery 0203 2016. Location of recovery Lisbon, Portugal. Current status Dr. Blank's office. Interesting. Item description a blank spring toy able to turn corners. Date of recovery 0103 2016. Location of recovery Toronto, Canada. Current status undergoing testing in CN Tower stairwell. Note also crosses short landings up to 1.4 meters as long as there are more stairs. Okay. All right. Item description a human brain in a vat of nutrients equipped with cameras and speech synthesizer. It claims to be Zargox Quaglofan, 23rd century secret agent on a temporal mission to prevent the rise of the insectoid empire in 1976. Date of recovery 0923 2011. Site of recovery crater at Site 136. Current status head of records Site 136. Notes it appeals to be delusional, but it is a very good file clerk. Dr. Danger. Item description a titanium spork. Any food eaten with this utensil will be perceived to be slightly less spicy than the maximum the eater is readily capable of tolerating. No chemical changes to the food or physiological changes to the user are noted. This item only affects perception. Date of recovery 0416 2016. Location of recovery the Site 88 cafeteria. Current status in Site 88 general storage ring. Small item storage locker. Notes correction. It's supposed to be in the storage locker, but keeps ending up back in the cafeteria utensils rack. I better not catch whoever keeps doing this. Dr. Rakastani. Item description a toilet. Any animal that comes into contact with the toilet will burst into laughter even if they don't have the vocal cords to do so. Date of recovery 0212 2005. Location of recovery the Site 66 bathroom. Current status broken after Dr. Blank dropped item during transport to Site 66 storage room. Item description a white sock that, whenever worn, turns out to be inside out, completely independent from how the sock was actually put on. Date of recovery 0114 2002. Location of recovery originally in possession of Agent Blank. Current status in storage. Anomalous items 191 through 200. Item description brown paper grocery bag. When placed on the head of a human being, the wearer's face cannot be revealed in any way other than removing the bag on their own. Any other attempts to remove the bag, will remove the bag only to reveal another bag underneath, still covering the head of the wearer. Removed copies no longer display anomalous effect. Attempts to cut holes in the bag have failed. Deceased subjects do not seem to trigger anomalous effect in the object. Date of recovery 0413 2009. Location of recovery a blank supermarket located in blank in employee break room. Current status in storage. That sounds amazing and like an incredible renewable resource, like just an infinite supply of paper forever. That's fantastic. Item description a retractable pen with a spring based clicker. In addition to the two states such a pen would normally have, retracted and extended, there exists a third state, where the pen tip appears to retract and extend again. When attempting to write in this third state, the pen will start making a continuous bass heavy noise as it makes contact with the writing surface. Disassembly of the pen has revealed no origin to the source of the sound. The anomalous effect only functions when the pen is completely reassembled. Date of recovery 0816 2015. Location of recovery, a high school in the USA. Current status, in storage, Site 23. Item description, a copper fountain in a public space outside, redacted. That, that would just as easily make sense if you just blacked it out. All right. During the daytime, the fountain does not display any anomalous properties. However, at any point in the night after 22:30, when the fountain is not being observed, all coins at the bottom of the fountain will inexplicably disappear. Inexplicably, this will only occur if there are at least 1,945 cubic centimeters of water in the fountain. Date of recovery 1602 2000 something. Location of recovery Czech Republic. Current status disassembled in a Foundation owned warehouse. Notes the groundkeeper at this location of recovery was aware of the fountain's anomalous property, but didn't report it because it made his job easier. I sympathize, but still, the length of time he's been exposed to the anomaly, I'd recommend a Class E amnestic for him, Agent Blank. I'll look into clearing it with the ethics committee. And as for people telling me this should receive full SCP status, it's a fountain that eats your coins, nothing more. Dr. Riken. That seems to be enough to get things SCP status though, so I don't know. I don't know why this wouldn't qualify. Item description. A silver wristwatch which, when laid on any surface, will soft boil an egg placed on it. No other anomalous properties reported. Date of recovery 0503 2000 something. Location of recovery New Mexico. Current status in the possession of Dr. Michael Blank, personal use. Notes this is absolutely useless. However, it does make preparing lunch at work much easier as I don't have to wait to use the stove in the kitchen. No, you can't have it. It's mine. Dr. Michael Blank. Item description an open case of 20 tubes of hair gel. Application of the hair gel to the scalp of any primate cause it to grow, recede, or change length until the primate's hair resembles a 1980s style mullet. Date of recovery 08/12/2016. Location of recovery basement of blank barbershop, Waxahachie, Texas. Current status in Site 17 storage. Notes product appears to be mislabeled. All packaging indicates the product will give you to users. Oh my gosh. Product appears to be mislabeled. All packaging indicates the product will give the user a 1950s pompadour. Item description a large conch sheath seashell, 30 centimeters in length. When the opening is held to the human ear, a dial tone is produced from within the shell. No method of dialing the item, if such is possible, has yet been determined. Date of recovery 04/05 2012. Location of recovery obtained from the seashore of Mindle Beach, Australia. Current status functioning as an aquarium decoration in Site 82. Item description a wireless black PlayStation 4 controller that will connect to Nintendo 64 entertainment consoles and nothing else. Tests have shown that all internals of the controller are unmodified and correctly programmed, yet there is still no understanding of how N64s receive the signal broadcasted by the controller. Date of recovery 01/24/2016. Location of recovery obtained from a house in blank, California. Current status in storage. Request for transfer to Area 43 break room pending. Item description a mundane hockey puck slides across all surfaces it is placed on with no observable friction. Date of recovery 03/04/2016. Location of recovery surrendered by the Ice Hockey Club of Darwin, Australia. Current status in storage. Item description a coverless book with 50 pages. When opened, it will display pages from different parts of different novels and books. There are no set patterns to what pages will appear in it. The pages will randomize again if book is closed and reopened. Date of recovery 1988. Location of recovery on a bookshelf in a public library located in blank, Hong Kong. Current status in storage. Item description a small white dresser. The upper drawer contains different assortments of items each time it is opened, usually consistent with mundane drawer clutter. Any items placed inside are no longer present when the drawer is closed and reopened. The lower drawer similarly shifts contents, but instead it is always uniformly filled with a single substance collection of identical objects. Previously observed examples include shale gravel, pine pitch, unmarked gold ingots, 1985 US pennies with identical scratches and surface features, 150 chrome steel objects of uncertain function, Bing cherries, and crushed woodwind reeds. Date of recovery 10/14/2003. Location of recovery during a raid on Marshall, Carter, and Dark warehouse. Current status low risk anomalous item storage. Note after brief testing, item was determined to be non hazardous. Request for further testing as a possible disposal for hazardous items pending. Alrighty. That will be where we, oh my gosh, that will be where we end this video. And I will see you all again later. Bye.